Breaking news, another member of a prominent South Carolina family tied to a murder mystery has been shot. Good evening, I'm Amaris Jenkins.
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh found shot just 3 months after his wife and son were both found shot and killed. SLED confirms Alex was shot after his Mercedes SUV broke down along a road.
Hampton County 911 was your emergency.
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes.
We examined the Murdaughs and the tragic shooting deaths of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh in the previous episode. We looked into who might have wanted the family dead given that Paul had enemies and was allegedly the main target in the double homicide. The boat crash victims and the friends and family of Mallory Beach, the young woman who died in the boat crash, would soon be ruled out by investigators. On the other hand, it's possible that they wouldn't be the only ones who would want revenge on the Murdaughs. A few weeks into the double homicide investigation, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, declared that fresh information would prompt them to launch a new investigation into the death of Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old man whose body was discovered on the road about 10 miles from the Murdaugh's residence.
My office is out of Charleston, okay? I don't work around Hampton, and I know that the Murdaughs are highfalutin around Hampton, and, you know, some people say have a lot of power or whatever, but that name doesn't mean anything to me, okay?
No arrests were made, and the exact cause of his death has never been revealed. It was initially looked into as a potential shooting before being determined to be a hit and run. According to evidence in the files kept by the police, Mr. Smith's body was discovered several miles away from the location where it was believed he ran out of gas on the side of the road. The Murdaugh family has not been charged with any wrongdoing in the case, and the police have not disclosed what specific events during the Murdaugh investigation prompted them to launch a Mr. Smith death investigation.
They would not say what evidence led to that decision or whether the Murdaugh family was involved in any way. WSAB will continue to follow this developing story.
Investigators would also rule out Stephen Smith's friends and family as potential suspects in the double homicide. So, if not the victims of the boat crash or Stephen's family, who else would want the Murdaughs gone? SLED would soon begin to look internally, and sources familiar with the investigation would say that a family member of the victims is a person of interest in their ongoing investigations. 14th Circuit Solicitor Duffy Stone would step down for the Murdaughs' double homicide investigation shortly after SLED designated a person of interest. This is intriguing because Alex Murdaugh and Duffy Stone have known each other for a very long time. What information, given his close ties to the family, would cause Stone to leave the investigation?
There was something that changed before you sent that letter to the Attorney General's office.
That's correct.
It's something you can't talk about.
And I cannot tell you what it is.
So if I asked you, does it have anything to do with the suspect in the case?
I wouldn't tell you.
If I asked, it had to do information in evidence that was found in the case?
I wouldn't tell you that either.
How complicated is this case?
The event happened, what, 2 months ago? Nobody's been arrested? That should answer your question.
Well, SLED would begin to concentrate their investigation on Alex Murdaugh, the individual who placed that initial 911 call.
52-year-old Maggie Murdaugh and her 22-year-old son Paul were found outside their home, both shot multiple times, according to the coroner. They were discovered by husband and father Alex Murdaugh on their rural property 10 days ago. Alex called 911, according to police, but the call has not been made public. The murder sending shockwaves through the local community, where generations of the Murdaugh family have worked as well-known lawyers and prosecutors, tied to countless legal cases in the South Carolina Low Country.
A tragic situation. The Murdaugh family is well known.
Alex Murdaugh is facing a new lawsuit, this time by his former law firm that still bears his name. The firm is suing him for stealing money from the law firm and clients, something the firm claims happened for years.
Murdaugh would be forced to leave his family law firm, PMPED, after firm officials claimed that Mr. Murdaugh had misappropriated millions of dollars in client and firm funds, a claim that his attorneys have not refuted. According to a statement from PMPED, the company had forensic accountants on staff to conduct a thorough investigation into the allegedly stolen property. The statement also mentioned that the South Carolina Bar Association and law enforcement had been notified about the incident. As a result, Alec would experience unmanageable pressure and reach a new low as he was forced to resign from his law firm and become the primary suspect in the double homicide of his wife and son. But on September 4th, the day after leaving his law firm, Alec would make yet another 911 call.
Hampton County 911, what's your emergency?
On Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by the church.
What church are you talking about?
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm still on the line with you.
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh? And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay.
Alec was reportedly traveling from his home in Islandton to Charleston, South Carolina, when he was stopped on the side of the road after having car trouble, according to sources close to him. A car would reportedly drive past him, immediately turn around and shoot him. The source of the car trouble in question would later be identified as a flat tire. Murdaugh was reportedly shot in the head, according to numerous sources familiar with the incident, but he only suffered a superficial head wound. According to reports, Murdaugh was flown to Savannah, Georgia's Parker's Emergency and Trauma Center. During the time that authorities were processing the scene, new details emerged about the shooting, and Alec's story began to become increasingly inconsistent. First, it would be quickly determined that the claim of a run flat tire was untrue. As investigators were searching the scene, they came across a knife that had been used to puncture the tire. It would later be determined that Alex Murdaugh was the owner of that knife. Second, it would be proven the claim that a truck passed Alec before turning around and shooting him was also untrue. Alex Murdaugh would soon acknowledge that he had asked Curtis Edward Smith, one of his distant cousins, to shoot him in the head.
Attorney Alex Murdaugh is charged with trying to have himself killed in order to get $10 million in insurance money for his son. Now, 3 months earlier, his wife and another son were shot to death. That case is still unsolved at this time. Murdaugh told investigators, we have to follow along here, that he hired a man named Curtis Smith to shoot him in the head last month. Murdaugh claims he's been addicted to opioids for 20 years, and Smith is his drug dealer.
2 days after the shooting, Alec would apologize to his family, friends, and colleagues in a statement and announced that he was going to rehab. His attorneys claimed that he had been addicted to Oxycontin for a number of years and that his use of the opioid had gotten significantly worse after the passing of both his wife and son. Both Alec and his cousin, Curtis Edward Smith, were taken into custody as a result of his plan to have his cousin murder him. In addition to aggravated assault and assisting in a suicide attempt, Smith was charged with insurance fraud as well. Smith claimed to reporters that he did not purposely shoot Alex Murdaugh, and the gun had gone off while he was grabbing Mr. Murdaugh's arm to prevent him from shooting himself.
Then it was like this. He said, yeah, you got to take care of this. I said, well, I can't do it. And he told me he turned his head. I just grabbed his arm, put it behind his head, took the gun from him. If I hadn't took the gun, I don't know what he would have done.
On September 16th, Alex Murdaugh would turn himself in to the police. He would later be charged with filing a false police report, insurance fraud, and conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, all of which are felonies. So, why would anyone go through all of this is the question. And if one is capable of staging a suicide attempt, is it possible that that same individual could have actually committed the unthinkable act against his own family? The second question is, what happened to the millions he stole from his law firm? How exactly did he come so close to getting away with it? Unfortunately, PMPED would not be Alex Murdaugh's only source of theft.
Today, police announced they've opened a criminal investigation into the 2018 death of Murdaugh's longtime housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. Now, she died, and it was described as a trip and fall accident, but the death certificate said natural causes. Those two things don't go together.